Welcome back to The Word. I'm your host, Max Dutton, reporting for the Baker Orange. On this week's episode, we'll take a look at some of the interterm trips that happened in January, get students' opinions on parking on campus, and get a behind-the-scenes look at how some Baker football players are working to continue their careers professionally. During interterm, many students had the opportunity to travel as part of their classes. Taylor Nicholson gives us an in-depth look at how those trips went.
This January, 3 interterm classes escaped the Kansas cold to explore the world. With the COVID-19 pandemic halting travel interterms in 2021, this year, students and faculty were eager to get out of the classroom and onto a plane. The 3 travel interterm classes that Baker offered this semester were a trip to Hawaii to learn about the history and culture of the 50th state, an immersive West Coast National Park history road trip, and a trip to Spain to learn about Spanish history, culture, and identity. Professor Martha Harris was a faculty leader on the Hawaii interterm.
I think there are a number of things to learn from travel opportunities, even if they're brief. There's a level of independence that you have to exercise that may be greater than what you have at home, and hopefully an exposure to another culture, even if it's not that different from one's own. Just other parts of the U.S., we find differences between people, foods, language, what they do for fun, things along those lines. So I think there's always a chance to just, if you go in with your eyes open, to learn lots of things about people that are from other areas.
Sophomore Grayson Nooch touches on her favorite parts of her trip.
You can sit in a classroom and you can look at pictures and you can talk however much you want, but you don't really get the full experience of actually being in the city. So going over there and being able to hear like 10 different languages just walking down one sidewalk, you turn your head and hear a different language every 5 steps, which was awesome.
The 3rd travel interterm group headed west with a trip packed with national parks and beautiful scenery.
I think that it was an experience that I would not have been able to have on my own. Seeing I don't know exactly how many national parks we saw, but seeing that many national parks in that short of a time span, and just learning about the national parks and how they came to be and why they are what they are.
It sounds like all 3 classes were a huge success. I'm Taylor Nicholson with Taylor on the Town, Baker Orange.
Now let's get started with the Baker Orange News Rundown. Baker Orange staff member Maggie Young reported that on December 4th, Baker University officially unveiled the Mansfield-Elliott men's basketball locker room to alumni and donors. New additions to the locker room include wooden lockers, a television, a whiteboard, and signage. The locker room is named after 2 Baker alumni, Charles L. Mansfield and J. Nelson Elliott. Alumni and their families who contributed funds to the locker room renovation gathered to cut the ceremonial ribbon and officially declare the project complete. Baker Orange staff member Josephine Moore reported on Friday, January 21st and Saturday, January 22nd, the Department of Music and Theater presented Your Good Man, Charlie Brown. The play was based on the comic strip Peanuts by Charles M. Schulz. Many Baker students were involved as performers as well as a large number in the crew. This was the first musical for Baker since the pandemic. Many people dream of being a professional athlete, but only a small percentage actually get to do it. We have some players here at Baker that are part of that percentage. Adam Cook has the latest.
We're sure you're likely aware of the success of the Baker football team. What you may not know is that some of its senior players are beginning the process of moving their football careers into the next level. Will Cox and J.D. Woods both have pro workouts scheduled with the Canadian Football League and the NFL, respectively. Both workouts are invite only, and it's quite the achievement to just get an invite to one of these camps.
It's March 9th at KU, which is really big for me because not a lot of people get into KU's Pro Day because they're really strict on it. So me being able to get into it was a blessing.
Defensive back Will Cox is nervous but excited for the opportunity to showcase his talent to the CFL.
There's a lot of nervousness that goes into this, but there's also a lot of excitement because it's a new opportunity that I really want to attack head on. I also hate the cold up there, but I'm probably nervous for that too.
However, running back J.D. Woods, the NAIA's new rushing touchdowns and rushing yards record holder, believes being one of the only small school players at KU's Pro Day will actually lessen the pressure on himself when performing in front of the NFL scouts at the event.
I would say it's something to prove, but not a chip on my shoulder, if you know what I mean, because it's like no one really, like there's teams and people who know who I am, but I'm not expected to go into KU and do, what other guys from big schools or somewhere would be expected to do. So I don't have as much pressure on myself going into there as a guy from KU probably has on himself. So I'm just gonna go in and be relaxed and do my thing.
Both athletes attribute much of their ability to get to this point to Baker's head football coach, Jason Thoren.
That's my guy, yeah. We talk all the time. I go and meet with him about 2-3 times a week. He's helping me with reading defenses, blocking schemes, and when teams call you in, they're gonna want to get you on the board to know that type of stuff. So that's something that he's really been helping me with. Just making sure my head's straight, I'm catching, he calls every day, making sure I'm catching football. So, Coach Thoren's always going to be like a father figure to me, and that's why I like him the most.
So he's probably been the biggest factor just because of his positivity. He's always kept me uplifted. And what he always says is he's my yin to my yang because I'm usually a person that is pretty pessimistic. I see the negative a lot, and he always sees the positive. And so me and him were just a perfect match.
We wish these Wildcat athletes the best of luck in their upcoming pro days and hope they can end up adding to the list of Wildcats in the pros. But for now, we'll head back to the desk. This has been Adam Cook for the Baker Orange.
Well, that'll do it. Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Word. Remember to keep up to date with all things Baker Orange by following us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Baker Orange. While you're at it, you can also follow the Instagram and Twitter pages for our show at BU_The Word. See you in 2 weeks.